Today we're going to show you the video from the adventure from 2021, catching King George whiting at St Leonards.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big fish, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman.
For the first time, Adrian took his newly purchased boat. How did you feel?
I felt very confident and comfortable, especially knowing that you are close by at all times.
Once we got there, it didn't take you long to catch the first fish.
No, it didn't. It took us a bit of time to identify a promising ground, but straight after that we started to have action.
What would you say was the key of success?
The key of success today was the cocktail bite you recommended, small blocks of pilchards mixed with small pieces of squid.
Your kids look like they had a lot of fun.
We had a wonderful time and we look forward for a new adventure.
Enjoy this video.
Enjoy.
Alright, since Adrian got his boat, this was the first time for him to take it out, and we went straight from Werribee to St Leonards, chasing some King George whiting. On my boat, obviously Jerry and Mima, and we were ready for some action. While I was setting up the cameras, the game was on. Jerry already got some nibbles, Mima already banked some fish on the boat, and I didn't even manage to wet the line. On the other boat, Adrian and his crew were getting ready. Few boats in the distance, there were not many boats around us. In no time we started landing King George whiting left, right and center. This time King George whiting had no preference. Some on running rig, some on paternoster rigs, yakas as well. We had some yakas on running rig, some on paternoster rig, and it just kept going on and on.
Adrian, you guys catching fish? Come closer. Come closer. Come closer.
Again for us, small slices of pilchard and small slices of squid was the key for our success. The fish was not that big, 30 to 33 centimeters, but there was plenty of them, and in no time we had boats all around us. As it got very busy, teamwork was very important. As I was telling myself, damn, we're busy, it just got even busier. Looking around, looked like all the boats were in action and they were catching fish. It was a really good day. The water was just beautiful. You can't beat this. On the other boat, boys were busy as well. They were catching quite a few fish and they were happy. I managed to excuse myself from my duty And yeah, so I can drop off my belly bucket with my camera on. When I got home, I checked the footage, and there were millions of yuccas and Tommy Ruff just under the boat. We were definitely on a good ground. Sandy patch in front of us, and yes, plenty King George whiting. The tide was incoming, and at St Leonards that's the best time to be chasing King George whiting. Here's another example. I was catching him on Tiganosta running rig, and Jerry was catching him on Paternoster rig. They were not fussy at all, and they were on and on and on, just non-stop action. In between them, again some yuccas. We were calling the boys to come actually closer to us, because I was believing that they in a grass patch, even that they got few. But in meantime I saw quite few garfish popping up on the surface. So small long shank hook and bit of a yucca flash did the trick. The garfish was not aggressive at all, so in this situation I don't use the float. What I do, I have a small split shot, I let the line float and then slowly wind back. The garfish will chase it and eventually one of them will get hooked. I decided to take a break and put my GoPro underwater. The amount of garfish was just incredible. Since we had quite a bit of King George whiting, Jerry decided to catch some garfish as well. On the other boat, the boys started to get very busy. They managed quite a few King George whiting themselves. We totally turned our focus to garfish, and between me and Jerry we end up with quite a few fish. The garfish wasn't very big, but definitely a good size. Plenty of them around and lots of fun. In the meantime, the boys were still on King George whiting. They used the same trick with squid and pilchard, but for them, Tiganosta running rig was actually a better performer compared to the Paternoster rig. On our boat, Mima was landing more King George whiting. We were catching all this King George whiting, but underwater there was no sign of them. There was just Tommy Ruff, yuccas, and sometimes big stingray would just cruise past. tip on handling the whiting is you must grab him by head, otherwise he's just gonna slip through your fingers because they're very slimy. While I was landing still some more garfish, on the other boat, little AJ managed to get his first King George whiting. Hours later and we're still catching plenty fish. King George whiting after King George whiting and some yuccas and garfish in between. Happy faces everywhere. I don't usually throw my rods on the floor, but when you're busy, you're busy. And from here on, we actually got much busier. Even we've been surrounded by lots of boats, we still managed to catch plenty fish. Well, it was time to put the fish in a skylar bag and slowly head off home. When we left, the fish was still biting, but we had more than enough. Another beautiful day with lots of happy memories. Alright, today in the studio we got
AJ.
little Adrian Jr. And Adrian Jr. loves the most?
Fishing.
Fishing. What we don't like about these lockdowns?
I hate it because we can't go fishing anymore. Really.
That's your answer.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what's the most fish you get?
Normally I get mackerel and whiting.
Whiting.
Yeah.
I know you love flatheads, but you don't get
Yeah.
many?
Nah, not many.
So you get more whiting than flatheads.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people over there don't like that. They're the other way around. They get all the flatheads, they can't get a whiting. You know that?
Yeah.
What would you say to them? How they have to fish?
You guys have to fish out there the happy fisherman way.
That's your answer. Enjoy the video.
Enjoy!
As you see in the rule is, don't put all your eggs in one basket. King George whiting is our bread and butter fish, and lots of people target them all year round.
They are fun to catch on light roads, but they can be very finicky sometimes and you have to do hard work to get some. Paternoster rig and the running rig, which we're going to show you a closer look of them a little bit later in the episode, are the main setups chasing King George whiting. It is interesting how different days, different rigs work better, and sometimes they both work just as good.
Definitely the running rig is the preferred one by many anglers. But the fun on Paternoster is that you can sometimes have a double hookup.
Very true. As far as the bite's concerned, pippies, mussel, squid, bass yabbies, slices of pilchard work perfect around this area. When you hear the word cocktail, that means people are using combination of pipi and squid, or squid and a piece of pilchard, and so on.
St Leonards is the go-to place in Port Phillip Bay if you're chasing King George whiting. Saying that, while you're there, observe and test the area for other species like yucca, slimy mackerel, or, as you saw in this video, garfish could be all around the boat.
In the next video, we're going to show an adventure with my friends Taz and Phil. A quick story: in October 2019, I got a message from Taz, who was thanking me about my detailed reports on Facebook, more precisely on Port Phillip Bay Reports channel. Basically, in this message, he asked me nicely if one day I do have a spot on my boat, he would like to come along. So that was an opportunity for me to make another happy fisherman and acquire a beautiful friend.
But Phil was different story.
Phil we met in Sanctuary Lakes Shopping Centre. He's got a boat and he told me that all he catches is squid and flathead.
Yes.
So I promised him I'm going to get him onto King George whiting as the season was on. And we went out with Lindsay Field.
Yes.
And he came along. I got him to park right next to us, few tips and tricks, and he's a happy fisherman.
Let's watch this video.
Enjoy. This adventure from 29th of April 2021 started around 11 a.m. by launching at Werribee, and our destination was St Leonards. As usual, our target fish was King George whiting. We anchored in 6-meter depth, and as I was setting up the cameras, I realized we're losing bite to leather jackets. It was obvious we were on top of the grass. Thanks to my Lone Star electric winch, it only took a minute to move and reposition ourselves. And before you know, Tez was on the first King George whiting. That was a good sign. When I got home and checked the underwater camera, underneath us was a nice sand patch, but only Tommy Ruff. Yet, Tez and Phil started bringing King George whiting from both sides of the boat. In between them, some flatties and occasional yakka. Tez was using paternoster rig and Phil was on the running rig. At this stage, both rigs worked perfect. Again, teamwork was very important. King George whiting is very slimy, so it's a good idea that one person on the boat handles them and sets up the rod while others concentrate on fishing. It was incoming tide, and very quickly we had a consistent action. Under the boat, Tommy Ruff everywhere. Sometimes Tez proved that 2 hooks are better than 1 by getting doubles on paternoster rig. Some fish were small, and even they were legal size, we still put them back. Patience was the key. As I explained to Tez and Phil, after casting, keep the tension on. Slowly wind back, don't strike on the first touch, but keep slowly driving the line back, and that second touch, it's when you're gonna get the fish. Tez had a system going. It was patience, yippee-yay-yay. What can I say? Another beautiful day out with my friends.
"33 kilometers from Geelong is the coastal town of St Leonards. Picturesque and peaceful St Leonards, it's perfect for family holiday makers and fishermen. It's called the King George whiting and squid capital of Port Phillip Bay. Grass and sand patches make the perfect ground for squid and King George whiting, which we target all year round. The boat ramp has 4 lanes, and you can launch any size trailer boat here. Since the ramp doesn't have any form of protection, launching and retrieving your boat on strong east wind can be tricky. There are over 30 parking spots here, toilet block and fish cleaning table, all in a short distance from the ramp. Summertime, this boat ramp can get quite busy and the car parks fill up pretty quick. In that situation, there is a big paddock across the road where you can park your trailer. The good thing about launching here is that you only have a short distance to prime squid and King George whiting ground. More precisely, less than a kilometer. With that in mind, you don't need a motorboat to access great fishing grounds. Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope you enjoyed it.
Next week, we're going to show you how we catch snapper around the wreck, and we're going to take a quick trip to the Rip, which is Port Phillip Bay Heads. Very popular for yellowtail kingfish, especially January, February, March. I'm talking about that. If you want to see someone really good at it, watch Metzini's TV show on Channel 31. I think you'll be impressed.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big fish, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman, and I do